Hi, so this is another episode of 2D top-down game in Unreal Engine 5 tutorial, and this episode is special because it's a reaction to my first YouTube comment, so thanks for that. You will learn how to overlap characters and tiles and how to hide character behind the tiles. Watching the game, it's true that this overlap would create that nice touch to the game, so let's try to do that. We have to go to the top-down character and open the viewport. Then change from the perspective mode to the top mode so we can see things nicer. And all the magic we will do now is in the position of the flipbook and the size of the capsule. We want the upper part of the character to overlap with the walls, but not the bottom part. We therefore want to move the upper part of the character outside of the capsule, because whatever is in the capsule cannot overlap. So let's click the flipbook, let's use the move tool and move the character up. We also want to make the capsule smaller and move the character a little bit down so the bottom of the character tightly touches the collision capsule. Now if we try to play the game again, we see that it looks much better. The character can overlap the walls, but the walls on the top part cannot overlap the character. There is a solution for this issue, but it's quite complex, or at least I couldn't find any other solution. So I will show it to you, but in case you will find out something better, tell me. So at first we have to open the tileset walls and we have to change the collision box. So let's click on one of the upper walls and drag the collision box down, so the collision actually is not at the top of the wall but a little bit down. And we will do the same for the right corner and also for the left corner. If you run the game now, you can see that the collision between the wall and character is a little bit better, but the character is above the wall. So to improve this further, we have to open the tile map and change the separation per layer value. But before we do that, let's talk about the meaning of this value. We will look at our game from the side view, so there is x-axis going to left and the z-axis going up. We see the flat tile map at the bottom of the game, and then there is a green grass layer, which is the first layer of our tile map. Then directly on the grass layer there is the collision capsule of our top-down character, and inside the collision capsule there is a flipbook showing our character. Then there is also the walls layer above our grass layer, and the distance on z-axis is what we call separation per layer. And we want to increase the separation between layers in a way that the character flipbook is between the grass layer and the walls layer, so it can actually be rendered behind the wall. I think the easiest way how to find out the right separation per layer value is to experiment with that. So try to set it to 20, run the game and see if the character moves behind the walls, and if not, increase it a little bit to 40 and so on until you get to the desired state. For me, the value 40 was the right value. So if I run the game now, I can see that the character can move behind the wall, but the issue is that it moves there also at the bottom of the wall and also at the top of the wall. Let's go back to the blackboard to discuss the solution. We can split the walls layer into two layers, one called walls up layer and the another just walls. And we can decrease the separation per layer, so the order is like this. We have the grass layer, then we have the walls layer, then we have character flipbook, and then we have the walls up layer. So in the tile map, let's add new walls up layer above the walls layer. Now click on the walls layer and use the eraser tool to remove all the up tiles. Now click the walls up layer and re-add them there again, but this time they will be in that walls up layer. We also need to decrease the separation per layer, and again we will choose some lower number, but we will experiment with that to find out the right value. For me, the value 20 worked. In the walls up layer we also have to change the override collision thickness value to 200, because that's how big we want the walls to be in the collision system, and without that the collision wouldn't work. And if you run the game now, you will see that we are almost there. We can go behind the walls at the top part, but the character can be visible through the walls, and on the bottom part the game works as expected. We see the character through the wall because half of the tile is transparent, and normally there is a grass layer right under the wall layer, but we are adding the flipbook between them. We will fix that by adding yet another layer between walls and walls up, and we will call this layer grass non-colliding. Please double check that you have the layers in the right order. It should be grass, walls, grass non-colliding, and walls up. To demonstrate what we are doing here, let's go back to the blackboard. By adding new layer, we are moving the walls up layer a little bit up, and we are adding a new layer between walls up layer and the flipbook character, which will show the grass, and this grass will actually cover our character flipbook. So let's choose the tile set for the grass, and in the grass non-colliding layer, let's put the tiles for the grass on the all walls up tiles. Now using that eye icon, we can check that all the layers are set properly, and because the grass non-colliding should be non-colliding, we should disable the layer collision. And now if we run the game, we can see that the character can move behind the wall and also overlap the wall on the down part of the walls. So that's all for this episode, and in the next one I think we will finally get to the apples. I had to skip this one because I wanted to react on the YouTube comment, but I promise in the next one we will get to the more apples as I promised. So thanks for watching, please subscribe and see you next time.